Welcome to Dwelling in Faith. Today, we are sharing a special message from the Virgin Mary, as revealed through Vicka, one of the renowned visionaries of Medjugorje. During the Holy Mass, Our Lady pointed out common mistakes many of us make while praying and attending Massachusetts. This is not only a reminder of how to prepare our hearts properly before encountering the Lord, but also an invitation to understand the infinite value of the Mass and God's presence in our daily lives. Let us listen closely and reflect, so we can fully live the grace of the Eucharist. Vicka shared a profound message from the Virgin Mary about how we should prepare our hearts when attending Mass and praying. She recounted that when she arrived at the church a little late, the Archbishop and priests were already in the sacristy. At that moment, the Virgin Mary said to her, "Today is a day for you to learn. Pay close attention, for you will need to share what you witness today with others." Reflection before Mass. As the Holy Mass began, during the penitential act, the Virgin Mary spoke again, "From the bottom of your heart, ask the Lord to forgive all your sins and any offenses, so you can fully participate in this Massachusetts." Vicka, feeling confident that she was in a state of grace since she had gone to confession the night before, was quickly reminded by the Virgin Mary that even small offenses count. "Do you really believe you have not offended the Lord since last night? Let me remind you. When you were leaving for the church, the girl who helps you asked for something, and because you were in a hurry, you answered her harshly. That was a lack of charity." This reminder showed how even seemingly minor actions can offend God, urging us to reflect more deeply before participating in the Holy Mass. The presence of guardian angels. As the Mass continued, Vicka began to see something extraordinary. People she hadn't noticed before started to stand up, and next to each person appeared a beautiful, young figure dressed in pure white robes. These, the Virgin explained, were the guardian angels of everyone present in the church. Some angels carried golden trays filled with light, offering them to the Lord on behalf of those who understood the meaning of the Mass and had something to offer. These were prayers, sacrifices, joys, and sorrows brought to the altar with devotion. Behind these angels were others with empty hands, representing those who were physically present but had nothing to offer. They were there without actively participating or engaging in the spiritual significance of the Massachusetts. Finally, there were sad angels with their hands joined in prayer, representing people who attended out of obligation, without the desire to truly participate. These angels had nothing to bring except their own prayers, burdened by the lack of spiritual connection from the souls they were assigned to, praying for the souls in purgatory. At one point, Vicka saw gray, shadowy figures near the altar, raising their hands toward heaven. The Virgin Mary explained, "These are the souls in purgatory, waiting for your prayers to help them find relief. The souls, though they pray for those on earth, cannot pray for themselves. Therefore, our prayers are essential in helping them attain eternal joy and union with God." The Virgin Mary reminded Vicka and all Christians that while pilgrimages to places of apparitions are good, the greatest presence of Mary and the angels is during the Holy Mass, at the altar where the Eucharist is celebrated, the consecration and receiving communion. Vicka then witnessed an astonishing vision during the consecration. As the priest consecrated the wine, she saw flashes of light in the sky and Jesus on the cross, supported by strong hands. The Virgin Mary explained that at the moment of consecration, time and space disappear, and everyone present at the Mass is spiritually transported to Calvary, witnessing Christ's crucifixion. This emphasizes the deep spiritual reality of the Eucharist that many of us may overlook, despite being unable to see it with our physical eyes. Later, as people lined up to receive communion, Vicka saw a woman receiving the host on her tongue after having confessed earlier that morning. A bright light surrounded her, starting from her shoulder and wrapping around her arms and head. Jesus said to Vicka, "This is how I joyfully embrace a soul that comes to receive me with a pure heart." Yet, as Vicka observed more, Jesus shared a moment of sorrow. A woman silently prayed after receiving communion, listing her worries. "Lord, remember it's the end of the month, and I can't pay the rent, the car payment, or the children's school fees. Help my husband stop drinking, I can't stand it anymore. My son is at risk of failing his exams." Jesus, saddened, remarked, "Did you notice? She did not mention her love for me even once. She did not express any gratitude for the gift I gave her by coming down to humanity to lift her up. It was just a list of requests." This moment highlights the importance of showing love and gratitude to Jesus during communion, rather than merely presenting him with our demands, the final blessing. As the priest prepared to give the final blessing, the Virgin Mary reminded Vicka, "Pay close attention. Instead of making the sign of the cross properly, people often make a quick scribble. This blessing might be the last one you receive from a priest. You do not know if you will leave here and die or if you will have another chance to receive a blessing." The Virgin emphasized the need for reverence, urging everyone to make the sign of the cross as if it were their last opportunity to receive a priestly blessing. After Mass, Jesus urged Vicka and all believers to not rush away. "Stay for a moment with me and let me enjoy your presence," he said. When Vicka asked how long Jesus remains with us after communion, he replied, "I stay as long as you want me to. If you speak to me throughout the day, even if it's just a few words while you are busy, I will listen. I am always with you. It is you who move away from me. You may leave the Mass thinking that's enough for the day, but I want to be a part of your life, especially today." This message from Vicka serves as a powerful reminder to all Christians, to approach the Mass with humility, gratitude, and love, to actively participate in the sacredness of the Eucharist, and to always be aware of the divine presence that surrounds us during prayer. Thank you for joining us today on Dwelling in Faith. Let's take to heart the messages shared by the Virgin Mary and approach every Mass with a renewed spirit of gratitude, love, and devotion. Remember, the Lord is always with us, and He longs for us to remain close to Him, not only during Mass but throughout our daily lives. If this message has touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that helps deepen our faith journey. May God bless you and keep you always in His grace.